Hey there guys, welcome back. Today I wanted to cover a different commander, the Wandering Minstrel from the Final Fantasy set. We are 2 mana commander, but we're actually 5 color thanks to our color identity and the ability, with 3 kind of like weird areas to them. First part is lands you control enter untapped, very broken, we can abuse that. Second part is his ballad. At the beginning of combat in your turn, if you control 5 or more towns, you create a 2/2 elemental token. And then his additional ability is you pay 3 and 1 of each color. Other creatures you control get XX into X number of towns you control. So he's got a budget-friendly lands theme to him, because you can play probably towns, that's what you want to do with him. He can kind of create your bodies mid-late game for free, and then you can just spam an overrun effect and hopefully just run everyone dead. So he's being built 2 ways by a lot of people. You go towns from Final Fantasy, or you go gates or gate tribal. Because with the towns you get your tokens, you can use your overrun, you can actually use the commander for what it's intended for. But he is a 5 color commander that is very cheap to the ground, and he makes the lands enter untapped, which is the downside to guild gates, so you can play gate tribal very well with him. The big thing with him, lands enter untapped, your dual lands or your bounce lands if you will, they produce 2 mana and they have to bounce a land back to your hand to use them. They are free mana with this guy, they enter untapped, you can tap the mana before they bounce back to your hand, so they're really just a ritual-like effect. Even better with certain ramping mechanics in here. Still, lieutenants of the deck would be the Tyrant of the Gaia Strait, just a big dumb serpent. It's a genuine threat on its own too, but you can play additional lands and landfalls, draw a card. Take you over, very similar. Landfall, draw a card, gain a life. We've got 2 versions of Omnath here. We've got the Locus of Rage, because landfall creates more tokens for us to spam with, but whenever Omnath or another elemental you control dies, you get to Lightning Bolt. The tokens your commander makes are elementals, so there's a bit of a crossover there. And the Locus Creation draws a card on entry, and additional has Landfall 1, 2, and 3. Landfall 1 gains you 4 life, Landfall 2 gains you a ton of mana, Landfall 3 does 4 damage to each opponent and their planeswalkers. For going wide, Scoot Swarm just creates 1/1 bug tokens to a certain point, then it creates more copies of Scoot Swarm, and then shit hits the fan and you have a ton of Scoot Swarms to deal with. Emira Angel makes 1/1 bird tokens with landfall, Maja makes 1/1 humans with landfall, but gives a lord effect with 1/1 to everything. Felidar Retreat, landfall makes 2/2 cap tokens. We're going very wide very quickly with just simple landfall here. Avengers Zendikar enters, creates a ton of tokens, which we love. Landfalls buff those tokens, works well with the Necro Bloom, who also makes plant tokens early on. You've got the Rampaging Baloth with landfall make more beast tokens, and just mentioned before, the Necro Bloom. Landfall is you create plant tokens, but when you have 7 or more different lands, you can create 2/2 zombies instead. In addition, your lands have dredge, so maybe mid-late game, a little bit of milling going on could come in handy. For extra land drops, which we care about because we can play those bounce lands multiple times, again and again and again, and just getting all the free mana out of them. So Azusa Lost But Seeking, play 2 extra, Exploration, play 1 extra, Oracle Mold die, you get to play an extra, but you play the top card of your library revealed, and if it's a land you can play it. The Dryad of the Lysian Grove, play an extra, but your lands are every basic type in addition, does help with color fixing. Mina Naden, play additional lands, but you can bounce a land back to your hand for 2 mana to give a creature trample, plus gives you more landfall triggers too. Loot, play an extra land, and in addition you can pay his ability of 6 mana to maybe cheat a creature off the top of your deck. Into ramp, we do love the brand new Reach for the Horizon and Precious Wanderings, because we can get towns out of our library straight into the battlefield tapped, but untapped because of our commander. Crop Rotation can get any land out of our library as well. You're probably going to get Field of the Dead to be honest with it, or maybe World Tree to fix your mana. Sylvan Scrying, similar idea, get any land out of your deck into your hand. Expedition Map, same thing, into your hand, any land you need. Scape Shift is a cool one, because you can sack any number of lands to get any number of lands out of your deck, put them into play tapped, but untapped with your commander, and if you get bounce edge, you get net positive, stuff like that. Tempted Discovery makes everyone greedy at the table. We can go and tutor for a land, they can also tutor for a land, but if they tutor for a land, we get more land. Realms Uncharted, we can go search for 4 lands, and an opponent's going to make us pick 2, put them in the yard, but hey, more lands. On-Path Journey just gets 5 lands out of your deck, you exile them, which I do like because it's thinning your deck down at the same time, and then once per end step you do get another one back. Planar Genesis, just dig 4, hopefully going to hit a land. Course of Crucifix, you can play the top card of your revealed, if it's a land you can play it. Landfall, you gain life, so it does pad you out a bit. And I love Cryptolith, right? I put it in pretty much any green deck I've got. Your creatures can tap for mana. Then we got Lotus Cobra, landfall, you get some mana. Really, really good with those bounce lands that produce 2 mana, which are entering, tapping for 2. 3 thanks to Lotus Cobra giving you mana back. and then bouncing back to your hand, you play them again. Tiles Provisioner, Landfall, you create a treasure token, getting ahead, and just Birds of Paradise for early drop. I've got Chromatic Lantern here as a rock because it can fix our mana department. We are 5 color, but we do need to get all the colors online for our commander's ability. And we do have a black spell here, a white spell here, but we are mainly green-blue. Then we've got Arcane Signet and Sol Ring, just because staples. The Queen of Vesuva is a very interesting card in this deck. When she enters or attacks, you can put an everything counter on 1 creature and 1 land. Makes every land type, so you can make things gates, you can make other creatures elemental, which you care about with Omnath. It does a little bit of interaction in the deck. Plus it's a good body, it's a 1/5. Walking Closet, Forgotten Cellar, you can play lands from your graveyard in case you've been milling yourself, or people do land destruction because they see you do care about lands. And then if you do unlock the Forgotten Cellar, you can cast things from your graveyard. Ren the Realmbreaker is cheap, he makes your lands tap for any color. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of this +1. I don't like animating lands, but if you do need a body, it does help. His -2 gets a permanence from our graveyard to our hand, which is great. And his emblem is pretty nuts. If you ever get it off, you may play just lands and cast things from your graveyard. For our big threats, our big enders, but they also bring a lot of value too. Lumra, power toughness, equal number of lands we control. When she enters, you mill 4, then you return all lands from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped, but untapped because of the commander. Love it. Ancient Green Warden. You can play lands from your graveyard and double Landfall. If lands enter, causing ability to trigger twice. And Cultivated Colossus, he draws you a ton of cards, hopefully. His power toughness equal number of lands you control, again, very typical. But when he enters, you may put a land from your hand onto the battlefield tapped, untapped thanks to the commander. Draw a card, repeat the process. Hopefully you can just keep chaining along. And then Lightning Greaves protect our commander, and the brand new Town Greeter who makes you mill 4 cards and you put a land from them into your hand. If it's a town, you gain 2 life. Just might hit another card. We have a lot of draw here, but we are trying to get a lot of lands into our hand and dump a lot of things out here. Travel the Overworld, Affinity for Towns is kind of a cool concept. Draw 4 cards. So hopefully for 2 blue mana, you're drawing 4 cards. Uro the Titan, he is nuts. When he enters, of course, you gotta sack him, but when he enters or attacks, you gain 3, draw a card, then you may put a land into your hand onto the battlefield. Even if you only get 1 activation, pretty good value. Then there's the Risen Reef, a really good addition with this commander. If it or another elemental enters the battlefield under your control, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land, put it into play battlefield tapped, untap thanks to your commander. And if you don't, put it into your hand. Your tokens, your commander makes it elemental. Omnath makes it elementals. They are relevant for us. Thus, the God of the Sea doesn't really draw cards, but she gives you scrying and great ability to make things unblockable. With your commander's ability to spam, overrun effect, you might need to get some damage through. Then we've got Growth Spiral, Eureka Moment, and Urban Evolution. The scaling effect of draw 1, draw 2, draw 3. It may play additional lands. We've got Explore, play additional land, draw a card. Just simple green-blue draw. We've got Brainstorm. I've got Windfall here to reset everyone's hands if we've kind of dumped everything out, or if you need to rip someone's hand away from them. Horn of the Greed is pretty much everyone gets Landfall. If they play a land, they get to draw a card, but hopefully we'll be more consistent, I hope. And Gifts Ungiven is just the really good tutor that got unbanned, so why not play with it? You tutor for 4 cards, your opponent split it in half, you get 2, you ditch 2. Removal, trying to stick to green-blue if I can a little bit. Counterspell, and Offer You Can't Refuse, and Swan Song, I have cheap aggressive counterspells, I love them in all my blue decks. Beast Within, just destroy anything we don't want to know about. Swords and Path are just cheap direct removal, and we've got both the Blast Axe here because they've got reductions built in, meaning if they're met, we can play them for 1 red or 1 black. The only lands I want to mention in particular would be the Field of Dead. Makes zombie tokens if you have 7 or more lands with different names, gets out of hand very quick. The World Tree can make our mana fixed up nice and easy. Reptile gives us no hand size. And of course, like I said, you want all the towns in the deck. I think there's like 20 something, maybe 23. So you got like 10 commons that can just tap for any 2 color combination. There's a few rares, there's a few other conditions. But you want pretty much as many lands as you can in this deck. That's the whole game plan. And that is the Wandering Minstrel, a really cool commander. A lot of people see him as a more casual, budget-friendly deck. But you can also play lands matter a bit more competitive. I definitely want to try the Guildgate variant because I want Guildgates or just Gate Trouble to be good. Yeah, cool commander. I like the idea. He's pretty cool. Alright, thank you for watching. Thank you to my patrons for your support. I cannot thank you guys enough. Thank you to everyone. We got over 5k, going for 6k now, and we're actually steaming ahead already pretty well. Alright, thank you guys, and have a good one. See ya.